Howdy, folks. Welcome to the Daily Coin. My name is Rory, and today is Thursday, April the 23rd, 2020. And I have the very distinct honor and great pleasure of welcoming back to the show a gentleman that we spoke with. We first introduced you to him back in December, right when Repo Madness was really going strong. The gold market was starting to change. There were some things that were happening. And he made a comment during that interview that really caught my attention. And so I thought I would use it for the title of the interview. And there were some comments in the comment section under the YouTube video that were like, well, I'm not sure about that. But he has been proven 100% right. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his reasoning behind it. We're going to get into what he sees from this point forward. We're going to talk about the project that he's working on, which is Double View Capital. And I'm speaking of the CEO of Double View Capital, Mr. Farshad Shirvani. Farshad, welcome back to the Daily Coin.
Hi, Rory. Hello to all investors. The honor is mine to speaking with you again.
I am so glad that you're here, and I want to bring this up because this is where I want to start, and I just want to kind of turn you loose on this because you and I were talking just before we started recording, and what you said back in December was that this was going to be that 2020 was going to be the best gold market that we've seen in centuries. And there's the title. There's the article that I wrote. There's the video from our conversation. And Farshad, can you just kind of explain where that idea came from? And I want to congratulate you on being absolutely correct so far.
Thank you. First, I would like to take this opportunity to hope everyone is safe in the United States and all around the world, and Canada, of course. And I wish all the best for all the people. Stay safe, and hopefully this problem is going to be resolved very soon. Yes, last year when I spoke about the gold and the gold market, it was according to that curve. I was talking technically. I was referring to technicality of the market in general. As we spoke right now, all the investors around the world, they were looking at 30 years of retirement. When they go in that 30 years, they break it into parts without knowing that this is statistically correct. Normally, they used to break it into 5 years, and for resource market, it was 2 years high, 3 years low, and then they had a bigger cycle of 5 years. Now, these cycles are getting longer because of several things. One is the internet. Internet is helping people to go and do research, and people getting with their own stock and their own strategy longer. And it made it 10 years. I checked the curve. This curve is showing 10-year program. Plus, all these dents going down and up in the gold market are pointing out to December last year. That was the right timing to see that. And March was, give or take, is change of the horse from all the other things going back to gold, copper, silver. This is technically looking at the curve. The other thing is we haven't had really 10 years of resource market. Any market, including .coms, building a computer, building anything needs resources. What are those resources? Basically, copper, gold, silver, iron, and there's a gap in their deficiency in the resource market. That's why, it was, I thought it's the timing. It's the timing, and this is the time. We looked at the market, right today, I believe we are about 1740 for gold, and you'll be amazed what I'm gonna say. We haven't seen it started. It's gonna start from here, not right today. That we're gonna see the same thing that we saw in 2001, 2, 3. That we're gonna see this gradual movement. This is a part of that gradual movement towards the end of the year. If you go with this gradual movement, which I think strongly that we're gonna go, at the end of the year, we're gonna see a minimum of $2,000 for gold.
Mm.
And the reason I'm saying that $2,000 minimum is United States is the most powerful country on earth. They can really control the gold price. They can really control dollar. United States dollar is gold on its own, but there's another event is happening this time around. This time around is different. Every single country on earth is printing money. This printing money is going to create a huge deficiency against the gold. Gold has a lot more momentum. This will end up to be one of the largest in our lifetime that we've seen, at least. And when I said for centuries, it's coming. And all the printed money, all the countries on earth, every single one of them showing that they're going towards that. United States, now, why do I say United States is powerful and this time around is a different ballgame? Just imagine if dollar stays, US dollar stays at the highest it can get, and all the other countries, because they're printing, they go down. All of a sudden, a person who's getting $20 an hour in the United States producing material has to sell it to lower commodity prices, foreign exchange prices. It brings down their ability to sell to other countries. That's why the United States also has to comply and move with the other countries. If they go lower, they have to go around with them to stay competitive. Mm. Otherwise, it's going to be, you want to buy a Ford? Yes, in the United States, a car is $50,000, but if you want to move it to Canada, it's going to be $200,000. It doesn't work. It has to come down and stay competitive. That's why I see gold going up against the US dollars, that definitely, and therefore against every currency on earth.
We're already starting to see that in a lot of countries. I was just on Twitter just before I called you, and there was a gentleman that was talking about what's going on in India and gold versus the rupee. And right now, gold is at its highest mark versus the rupee. And where that's not unusual, we're seeing that more and more with a variety of currencies around the world. It's either at or above its highest benchmark versus other currencies. And Farshad, when you're talking about gold versus gold as measured in fiat currency, U.S. fiat currency dollars, is that more of the, I presume that you're talking more about what we're seeing on the COMEX and LBMA, because we're already starting to see 1900, 2000. I was looking at a variety of online dealers yesterday, and $2,000 gold is everywhere. $2,100 gold, it's all over the place when you look at the physical. But when you look at the COMEX, LBMA, you see something completely different. Do you see these things decoupling? How do you see that? How does that work out in your formula, what you see going on?
Always when events are happening, the effects are having a delay. Right now, we haven't touched it. Once United States goes back to the market and starts producing, people are at work and the money is everywhere. People spending money have spent the money or start generating the the lag and the goal will come right after that. The lag could be 2 months, 3 months. I believe we're gonna see one jump about July, just before September, and then we will see one jump and start the hike just about December. I'm conservative. I like to stay conservative. So viewers like yours, they come back and they ask for more. Oh, he did it better. Over promising is not my job. I
Right.
like to see things good. And when we see it better, so we are even better surprised. But I think a good conservative number would be $2,000 strong base for December, but the lag is going to come and follow us for the next year. Yes, I've seen $3,000 on major platforms that I have seen, but I don't want to be promotional for my own money. For my own money, I want to be conservative because I don't. No one likes to lose money. We'd love to keep the money and increase it. And for myself, I put the platform to be about 18, 19, hovering in there in about June, July, and about end of the year, really a strong $2,000 base going to the next year. This trend will continue into the next year. Now, what are the parameters that affecting this? If that effect is taken out right away, this thing might happen right away. One of them is coronavirus. If we find a cure, not a vaccine, a cure for coronavirus, we find it tomorrow, and everyone knows what's going to happen. With this money floating in the market, United States, Canada, all around the world, all of a sudden we see a jump in gold value. There's too much money in the market. People are looking for jobs, spending at the same time, and all of that is going to brew a good base for gold market. When I say gold market, gold is there, copper is there, silver is there, iron ore is there. All of them are going to see activity because we need those commodities, and there is 10 years lag behind it. And there is no other business I can look outside and see, oh my God, this is a dot-com business. That's going to prepare the market. No, there's not. Only resource. That's why I'm, hung on in there, and I think it's going to be it.
Yeah, I think that you're right as far as resources, and I just think we're moving into more of a tangible across the board world, whereas we've been in this virtual world for the past couple of decades, and I think that time may be coming to an end. I hope that it is anyway. That's my hope. I know that you guys, when we last spoke, Farshad, we one of the things that was on the radar were these mergers that had been happening, and now all of a sudden the coronavirus, everything started changing right after we spoke in December, and then January, and then February, everything kind of went nuts. But about a year ago is when all the mergers we were talking about that in earnest. And how do you see with the mining industry basically shut down right now? The refineries are shut down. A lot of the major mints have been shut down, except for the Perth Mint, because it's a refinery as well. But how do you see that once everything gets moving again, as far as the mining industry and what you have going on at Doubleview? If you would give us a brief update on what's going on with Doubleview, and then if you would address what you see with the mergers and acquisitions and how the overall mining industry, the health of it at this point.
Maybe most viewers are not familiar with some of the activities going on around the world. Maybe one of the strongest countries in the world right now is Australia in resource industry. During the past year, it's noticeable that in Vancouver, lots of these major mining companies from Australia are opening offices, and they open offices for reasons, for activities. And they knock on our doors a lot. Like they come in and, definitely we communicate with them. For instance, we're one of the fish in the pond, and they're trying to get into the resource industry in here. When we talked back in December, this activity and these activities were a lot. Major mining companies we're trying to swallow smaller ones at a very good premium. And all of a sudden, coronavirus cut the communications right through and stopped that. But again, from last week, I see they're getting active, they're getting on the phone, they're learning that they can deal with this type of communication and getting into the business. And I see for going 6 months to maximum March next year, this is going to be the trend. Because if we don't find a vaccine or a cure for this, which I expect it to be in February, March, the businesses are not going to be 100%. And again, printing money, less job activities, which is totally against the societies and also in bringing down the value of the currencies and etc., which no one looks for it, no one wants it. But next March, I see activities all of a sudden spiking like crazy. Maybe before that we have preparations, and then after that, all of a sudden, takeovers start. We at Doubleview, I have started on this one since 2010. Maybe prior to that, we had a year of research, literally a year of research to find out what and where are we going, because the market wasn't favorable. We had only 2-3 months in 2010 of a gold market, and that was it. We didn't have any. So I had to be cautious. In that year, when I picked up the HAT project, my whole philosophy was to go around this deposit, perhaps a deposit with this criteria. It was a green field. It means there was no drill holes on it. It had the best chance to be a deposit. And the other thing, I just didn't want to be in one commodity. I wanted to be in copper, gold, silver, and now we know palladium is a part of that deposit. So I picked that and I took the risk. I said, okay, we're going to go first, see what happens. We had a discovery in 2013, 2014, and since then we are improving that. We are coming with hundreds of meters in the whole mineralization. We are coming with hundreds of meters in length, width of mineralization, majority with gold. Gold value is huge in there, which is the loveliest thing. And I'm working on it to move it to a larger volume. It's a porphyry. That's why the grade is always a porphyry grade. And we have been very lucky so far. We've had a lot of events in front of us. We have spent millions of dollars in there. And from all of that, a few drill holes are remain to be announced soon. I'm hoping that we get the assays soon, then announce it. And I'm very hopeful for those. We're looking at a deposit which has a footprint of 2 kilometers by 2.5 kilometers by 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometers depth, thickness. This is a very large porphyry system footprint. And our system and modeling has shown that wherever we drill it, we end up in mineralization in that system. That you have it on the screen right now, showing that in red.
Yeah, it's an impressive piece of property that you guys have, and I know you've been working on it for a while, and the information that I've seen on it so far, it looks like you guys are on the cusp of making something really big happen, and I hope that it pans out for you. I really do, because it looks like a really good project, and it's covering all the bases. You've got gold, you got copper, you got zinc. So I mean, it's that's what more can you ask for? I mean, seriously. And you have cobalt also, which is another that's another resource going forward that's going to be in demand, in my opinion. I mean, I may be wrong, but that's what I see anyway.
Yes. Commodities are like here. When one is running, all of them will run.
Yep. And what do you see at this point, Farshad, as far as you spoke about February, March timeframe of 2021 and everything coming back online at that point? How do you see, what are the modeling that you look at and the research that you do? What is that showing, if anything? You may not even look at this, but the overall economy, how do you see that playing out between now and next year? I mean, they just announced this morning another 4+ million people filed for unemployment here in the United States, bringing the number to about 26.5 million that are currently unemployed, which is now above the peak of the Great Depression back in the 1930s. And do you see the economy just falling off a cliff globally? I mean, what are your models showing at this point?
This problem, which is a bad problem, is going to be over very soon.
Okay.
Very soon, and the reason it's going to be over very soon, and it will go away, because it's a virus. Virus has bad effects, but we know we can control it. It's not one of those combative groups out in Middle East that we're still fighting with them. This one is going to go away. Yes, we're going to see something else next year, but this one has several things against it. There are countries like France, Canada, and even the United States, they have apparently shown that they have medications that will cure this beast. Mm-hmm. Once they cure it, we're going to be back at business, because we all need to produce and we all need to consume. No one says, I haven't consumed nothing today, even though I'm not going out. We have. There's going to be a very large deficiency that we have to really build it up again. All of the poultries are empty, especially in Canada. We've seen in BC, in Canada, several of those meat factories and poultry factories and chicken farms are shut down because of this. Guess what? We're eating yesterday's chicken. We're eating yesterday's meat. There's not going to be production for tomorrow. We're going to see a huge spike in the economy. that creates jobs. The economy is going to be back. And at the same time, you will see parallel to that, we have to increase our production to cope with this economy. Resources are the first things that we're going to use in every industry in our daily lives. Now, I see next year is going to be one of the best years again we have, and especially for gold and resource industry.
Yeah, I think that you're right, and the part that, as far as gold, in my opinion, gold is not, with the economic turnaround that you're describing. Gold is not going to move past the fact that there's been 6 trillion Federal Reserve notes printed in the past couple of months. Gold isn't going to forget that come next February. It's going to remember every one of those federal fiat currency dollars that were printed. It's going to remember every single one of them, and it's also going to remember all the ones that are going to be printed between now and next February. And like you said, around the world. This is not just in the United States. There are all the central banks around the world are doing the exact same thing. So what we're going to see is that is gold and silver both. Neither one of them are going to forget it. They're going to remember it in spades, and it's going to continue to push gold higher, in my opinion. I mean, I may be wrong, but
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And again, it's not against it that the economy gets better. It doesn't matter economy where it goes. In my opinion, that $6 trillion is not alone. It's not only $6 trillion
right.
you're mentioning. We shouldn't forget every single country is printing money. Multiply $6 trillion by the other countries printed money and see what's going to happen. Against those, there should be a value. This devaluation of the currencies is one aspect of increasing gold value. The other one is 10-year lag that we've had in resource industry is going to push it even higher. If we don't have in the past several years any new copper mine coming to the market. Not only that, several have been shut down because of different problems, running out of ore, running out of basically equipment to work, devaluation, they had to shut it down. It takes a year to bring some of these mines again into production. Those are all affecting the gold price, the copper market, iron market. They're going to push it a lot higher. There's one more thing that I see it. I have seen in the past 2 weeks a surge of companies texting me. Do you know anyone with this commodity? With this commodity, they're specifically rushing to get iron ore, copper mines, and directly from that, they want to take over those. And receiving those that tells me they see that event. They have a lot more smarter, very smart analysts at these large mining companies that they look at a year from now. They look at 2 years to 10 years from now. That's why they're haggling right now to get into it. So resource is the way to go for us as investors.
And there's a reason they're knocking on your door and calling you on the phone because they've been looking at what you guys have been working on, and they like what they see. And you can find out more about what Farshad has going on over at DoubleView, and you can go to doubleview.ca, and that's the website where you can shoot him an email and contact these guys over there. And if you're interested in investing, then they are listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol DBV, and on the here in the United States on the over-the-counter market under the symbol DBLVF. Farshad, I look forward to speaking with you come next February. Maybe we may speak sooner, but I'm definitely going to speak with you next February so we can find out how all of this played out, because I have a feeling that you're going to be proven right once again. So
thank you, Rory. It was an honor to speak with your viewers and also you. I wish everyone in the United States, Canada, to be safe and sound and stay away from this virus until this beast is out.
yes. And I echo that. And Farshad, thank you so much for all your time today. And I look forward to speaking with you in the not too distant future.
Thank you.